Yeah. So, firstly, the dosing milligram per milligram comparison, there's not a direct dosing comparison between daily and long acting because they are different molecules. So, even though the per milligram number is lower, it's not actually a lower dose. It's just the appropriate dose for Sogroya. So that's one clarification point. But overall, the longer term safety and efficacy data still show that Sogroya has a similar safety, no new safety signals identified compared to daily growth hormone, and the efficacy is as expected as well, maintaining the non-inferiority. In terms of dose optimization, again, each molecule has its own dosing regimen. So we follow that dosing per kilo based on the condition and the product itself. Yeah. So with the studies, adherence rate is high for both arms because this is part of a research study. And so really the real world evidence we are starting to collect now through registries, including Globe Reg, which is an international product agnostic registry across all indications for growth hormone therapy. And so we're starting to collect to see what is the real world adherence for patients on Sogroya. And so with time, we'll have that. Uh, right now, it's still preliminary data. The anticipation is that a once weekly product will provide better adherence to daily injections because of the treatment burden that exists in giving a child a shot every day. Yeah, so the most common adverse events reported in the trials were typical pediatric ailments, including upper respiratory infections, fever, etc. And those are seen across all of the trials and across trials in general, looking at children. With Sogroya specifically, because it's an injectable, injection site reactions is something that's carefully monitored. There were no increased rates of injection site reactions compared to daily growth hormone in terms of a significant injection site reaction or injection site pain. So that's very reassuring. So in terms of ongoing monitoring with Sogroya, it would be the same as when they're on daily growth hormone. Yeah, so when we're treating our patients, obviously there's a per milligram calculation recommendation, so weight-based dosing that we use, and it differs between the various long-acting products and daily, and it also differs between the conditions, growth hormone deficiency versus the non-GHD conditions. Um, that weight-based recommendation is a place to start realizing that if children are significantly overweight or at risk for metabolic syndrome or type 2 diabetes, or have other potentially predisposing conditions, we may want to start at a lower weight-based dosing, closer to an ideal body weight. On treatment, we use both weight-based dosing as well as IGF-1 levels to make sure that they don't go supraphysiologic too high as part of our monitoring algorithm. So it's a combination of both weight as well as IGF-1, and of course the clinical response, how they're doing with their growth velocity, where they are in terms of their pubertal progression, what their bone age is. So there's many factors that go into the dose monitoring of children on Sogroya. Yeah, so the Turner syndrome cohort was also part of that original basket study that had the approval for Noonan syndrome, SGA, and idiopathic short stature. The recruitment for that was a little bit slower, which is why that indication is lagging a bit currently at the FDA. The preliminary data, however, have been very reassuring and consistent with the non-inferiority that we've been seeing in the other conditions. So we anticipate that with further review of that data, hopefully we have another indication as well. In general, having another indication for a long-acting growth hormone in the non-GHD states has a positive impact on our patients because it gives them a choice for both treatment experienced as well as treatment naive patients to potentially reduce the treatment burden.